Farm4Profit podcast. Take a listen, have a blast. Farm4Profit podcast. Learn about farming while having a laugh. Farm4Profit podcast.
Well, Eric, welcome to the podcast. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
You're a busy man today and probably for all weekend.
Yeah, it is certainly very busy, and it's even hard to keep the excitement level down as we sit here talking. Just as the fans are coming in, gates are getting ready to open today, sellout crowd for the weekend, and great partners like Iowa Corn.
Yeah,
Okay.
we about got kicked out because we didn't have our credentials on, and we went to get a water.
Yeah, we take that pretty seriously
Your team's
around
doing
here.
the job.
That's good to hear.
Yeah,
Yep.
so
Yep.
Yep.
We just wanted to know where we were at, and she did a great job of explaining that after she told us we could
you need to
need
leave.
to be on the other side of the fence. I'm sorry. We'll get this taken together. But for our listeners, tell them what your role is here.
My role is track president here at Iowa Speedway. I'm in my 14th year with NASCAR, but I've been track president here since February. So fairly new to the state of Iowa and Iowa Speedway, but have been coming up and watching racing and overseeing some aspects since 2020.
Right. So how did you get into NASCAR?
Well, it's kind of a funny story. So I'm from Kansas originally,
Yep.
so Midwest guy, small town. Went to school at Emporia State, kind of south central Kansas there. Graduated with a business degree and then just kind of fell into a marketing position with an agency for Sprint. So shortly after that, in 2010, started working at Kansas Speedway.
Okay.
And really a variety of different aspects. So started out in group sales, working with our customers. Fast forward to 2020, had a variety of roles with hospitality sales and partnerships and sponsorships. And in 2020, that expanded to Kansas, Phoenix, California, and a few other tracks from our corporate partnership side.
Okay.
And led me to coming up here to Iowa for the ARCA Menard Series, IndyCar races. Right. And then at the end of 2023, when this race was announced, the Cup racing in Iowa, right?
Yep.
In fact, Craig Floss with Iowa Corn was at that announcement. So with the entitlement, knew that we had to build out a team here, and our leadership reached out to me and had this opportunity to become track president, and here we are.
So as track president, that doesn't mean you're here every day. You're just here when the race is here.
I'm here every single day, outside of some weekends. You know,
Really?
I do have a family, right? So we got to spend some time. But no, we actually moved the family to Iowa. We live in Ankeny now, absolutely loving
nice.
it. Moved in February. And our office is just right here at the racetrack. So we built out a team of about 15 once we moved here. And they're all on the ground right now working hard to make this a reality.
Well, I just want to say you guys have done an amazing job, especially with like the IndyCar and all that. We've been coming to that. And having this in Iowa is big for us. We don't have a pro sports team, right? This is our pro. And now to have the Cup Series here, this is amazing. So thank you for doing that.
Yeah, and thank you to all the fans. I mean, we had a sellout prior to even putting this thing on sale. This is all during pre-sale. So, for me, I'm so appreciative that I've heard Iowans say forever, for years, hey, we want a Cup race. We want a Cup race.
Mm-hmm.
We'll come out and support. Well, they sure did, right?
Yeah.
And to have a sold-out weekend is just such a testament to how strong racing is here.
Right.
And it's going to be broadcast across the nation. Like, this is not going to
Worldwide.
be kept a secret.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This will be, everybody's going to get a taste of Iowa.
Yeah, it absolutely, and it's even more unique than that. So the NASCAR season is split up between Fox broadcasts at the beginning of the season, and then NBC takes over through the latter half of the season. This race at Iowa Speedway, the Iowa Corn 350, powered by ethanol, is the first NBC broadcast of this season. So NBC's Network USA will be promoting this and broadcasting this on Sunday, to your point, worldwide.
Very cool.
So anticipate a lot of build-up around that. I've already seen a sneak peek at some of the shots at the Iowa cornfields that'll be on Sunday. That'll be showed on Sunday during the race, so excited
Nice.
about that.
So obviously this was announced last year, you said?
Yeah, it was in September of 2023 is when this Cup announcement
But I
was made.
imagine the wheels got turning well before that. I mean, walk us through that process, because obviously we haven't been on the circuit for the Cup Series. We've had Xfinity and trucks and other things here. How did that come up?
Yeah, and personally, I love this story because of the fact that we have been coming up here since 2020 for those ARCA Menard Series races in IndyCar. I've been able to see racing here, and we've all talked internally with both our team at Kansas and the leadership team of how great Cup racing could be at Iowa Speedway based on the size of the track, 7/8 mile, and the banking. And, you'll watch races here. You've seen races here. Like, this is going to be good. So early summer of 2023, the idea started getting kicked around, right, down in Daytona. And I think we really need to mention that those conversations with Craig Floss and Iowa Corn are part of the reason that this happened. With that support from Iowa Corn Growers Association, stepping up to the plate, they've been a sponsor at Iowa for years and years and years, really since the beginning.
Right.
And for them to come on board right away, it was a no-brainer for our leadership team to say, we're cup racing in Iowa.
Great.
I can't believe it wasn't earlier than that. 2023, that was last year. I thought something like this would take 10 years to plan.
Yeah, and that's been part of the challenge for our team up here, and to make sure everything is race ready. So we made the announcement, and then our team, including myself, we started planning it, but we all also moved here in February. So we jammed a lot into a very short period of time.
Yep.
But that, again, goes to the testament of just NASCAR nationally. We've had a lot of support from not just our Iowa Speedway team here, but the whole team nationally has kicked in, pitched in to make sure that this is a successful race event for us, for the fans.
Great.
So is this track comparable at all to any of the other races this year for NASCAR?
Not really. This is a very unique size track, being 7/8 mile. And you have some other mile tracks, like Phoenix is a really good example, but they have a unique configuration at Phoenix with that dog leg. So it's hard to even compare this. I mean, it's technically a short track, but it's, as the name goes, fastest short track on the planet. And that's not just a made-up term, right? This is going to be some really, really good fast racing.
Yeah. Yep. I know when them Indy cars go by. Whew.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a blur, those things.
Yeah, it's going to be fast, and it's going to be really, really loud. So any fan that's out here, make sure you bring that ear protection.
Yeah, we got to talk to Ross Chastain earlier this week, and he was just talking about how it's great to get a race live, to go and take it in. It's one thing to watch it on TV, but he just said when you can hear the motors start up, and his biggest thing was when the green flag drops, that first lap, the first time they come by at full speed, it's just another feeling.
Yep. It is, and I tell anyone that hasn't been to a NASCAR race, it's unlike any event you've ever been to in your life. And look, I've been to many NASCAR races over 14 years. I still get chills when that green flag drops and you see that first lap. I mean, the cars are roaring by, the fans are up on their feet cheering. It is a really visceral experience. You see it, you smell it, you feel it. I mean, everything about it. And, one other thing I'll say on that earpiece is make sure that ahead of time you get those racing electronics headsets, because you're able to dial in, listen to the crews, listen to the drivers, and also listen to the broadcast on there, in addition to talking to your buddy that you're sitting next to, which is really phenomenal. I think that's a great way. It's kind of like listening to the coach and the quarterback during a football game.
How do they go about getting those?
So you can go to iowaspeedway.com, and there's a link. You can go to the NASCAR Tracks app on your phone, and it'll direct you on how to do that prior to arrival at the track.
Perfect.
Interesting. I wonder if we could take these headsets and turn them in.
Plug it in.
We might have to check that out. That's a great idea, guys.
Yeah, maybe we could cut the cost a little bit. No. What year was this track built?
2006.
2006. I remember it was Rusty Wallace kind of deal. And, I mean, obviously they probably had admiration, or that they wanted this to be a Cup Series, but why was it never before this?
Yeah, you're right. And when you look at how the track is configured from a fan standpoint, a lot of that had to do with Rusty Wallace and then the Clement family as well. If you're a fan in the very front or you're a fan in the very corner up top, you want to make sure that every person here has a great vantage point of the track. And there's nowhere you're sitting here where your view is impeded by anything when you're watching a race at Iowa Speedway. And yeah, it did take a long time. I mean, Iowa Speedway has been under a couple different ownership groups, and of course now being owned by NASCAR, as we're working towards that. It has been a long time, but certainly worth the wait as we're here right now.
So it's not that old of a track. I already see a lot of articles out that you guys did some repaving. What's that all about?
We did. I don't know if Ross mentioned anything about that. Sometimes we get some feedback on that from the drivers. But look, it was something that had to be done from an engineering and design and development. Our team in Daytona took a look at this, and they determined that for the safety of the drivers, for the safety of all of the spectators, that there were some repairs that needed to be done. So everywhere you see on the track over this weekend was done with intention. So
it's a, what do you call it? It's a concrete track, but then you overlaid it as asphalt?
Mm-hmm. That's right.
And what is that? Is it going to give you more grip?
Yeah, that's probably a question better for one of the drivers, So I don't want to misspeak here, but yeah, certainly so. And with Iowa weather too, we got to take that into account. There's a lot of expansion and a lot of contraction based on the weather. So, those repaves and repairs are always going to be necessary at a track in the Midwest.
Yep, and it's going to be a hot one all weekend long.
It is.
So track temps are going to be up. I'm sure that'll have a big play on that. We'll see if we get any rain tomorrow morning. I'm sure that'll change some stuff too.
So before we send you out, because you got a very busy schedule and we appreciate the time that you are spending with us, what has that relationship been like with Iowa Corn? Obviously, you're new to that starting in February, but you knew that they had support of this for the state of Iowa prior to that.
Yeah, I've been really fortunate. So the world I came from before working for NASCAR was on the corporate sponsorships and partnership side. So I had the ability to work with Craig and Shannon in the Iowa Corn team prior to this role from a sponsorship perspective. And you know, I've over the past decade or so, I've had the ability to work with a lot of sponsors with NASCAR, but this is, it's kind of unique when you get to work with a true partner, right? And Iowa Corn's support is a true partnership. And not only just helping bring that NASCAR Cup Series race here, but what they're doing for all of the Iowa farmers out here on race weekend. 1,000-person tent that we're sitting in right now. I mean, I think that's so crucial to give back to the state.
Yep.
Again, being a guy from rural Kansas, I've seen that my whole life, how important that is. And Iowa Corn's support of us promoting leading into this race has been really, really phenomenal. And it's a real honor for us to be able to work with a group like Iowa Corn when the same values that they have are the values that NASCAR stands for as well. You know, we try to be very good stewards of the community that we're racing in. So we're coming in and we're racing in Newton, Iowa, build those relationships up and be very respectful that, hey, we're kind of in your town and we're racing. We want to help give back. So we've taken that approach with every city that we're in. And Iowans, and I can say this from a professional standpoint and personal because my family and I moved to Iowa in February, is we've really been welcome with open arms. And I'm so appreciative of that. And that's some good Midwest values right there.
Yeah.
That's great. Iowa nice.
That's
what
right.
that is. So how long can we expect this? Is NASCAR going to come back every year?
Yeah, so NASCAR's sanction agreements are set annually, so it's hard to say, you know, exactly what happens the year out. But I mean, as I'm sitting here with you guys and talking about a full sold-out weekend, it'd be hard to take away that, right? You know, so I feel really, really good about it enough that we moved our family up here and. And with the support of companies and organizations like Iowa Corn and all of the fans coming out, let's make this a memorable weekend.
Because even if the Cup Series would happen to not come back, like there's still other races that come here that you'd still have a job. You wouldn't be out of a job, right?
Yeah, that's right. So, well, let's hope so. So, no, we've been really lucky to work with Penske and IndyCar and Hy-Vee to put on that weekend, and really been an honor to be a part of that as well. So that, and then the ARCA Menard series over the past couple of years has been a lot of fun.
So. I lost it. I just looked at that.
So we've got some cars on track right now, so it's a little distracting.
I got distracted by. Well, we were talking to one of the Channel 5's videographers on the front stretch, and then we were like, "Hey, what are you getting, B-roll or whatever?" And it's like, "Yeah, they let me have my Equinox out here the other night or whatever." And I was like, "I bet you have the fastest lap of an Equinox on this track."
Yeah, you're probably right on that.
That's great. Well, Eric, thank you again. We can't say that enough. Congratulations. Sounds like it's going to be a great weekend. We're looking forward to enjoying it. Got a couple more interviews before we get to have a little bit of extra fun.
It came back to me.
There it is. Lay it.
Obviously this weekend is a success, right? You've sold it out. What other factors are going to make this a success in your eyes?
And here's how I define success as we look at, I mean, the sellout is fantastic. That's great, right? But that's just part of the equation. So for myself and what we instill in our team is success now is what the experience is for our fans that are coming out. And that starts here in about a half an hour when gates open. And that experience also is for Iowa Corn and how our partners feel and how they feel that they're treated over race weekend, right? So was it a success for them to come out here and work with our group? That is our goal. So we're going to measure success in the weeks after this race. And look, I've said this a couple different times, but for anyone that's listening and our fans that are out here, find me. I'll be walking around the whole time, all race weekend. Find me, give me some ideas, and what do you like, what do you not like? How do we constantly improve? Because that's what we're here for.
Great. Well, if you need some help promoting or partnering, we are up the road about 15 minutes in Slater.
I love it.
We have our own studio. It's in an old Casey's. So, we love Ankeny. We love that area. So
that's fantastic.
We're happy to have you. Happy
great.
that you're being successful here because us farmers and Iowans need this.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Thank you, guys.
No, congratulations again, and thanks for stopping by.
Appreciate it, guys.
All right, today on the Farm for Fun show, we get to interview one of the true patriarchs of NASCAR and one of the true patriots of America. This man started his love for racing by selling peanuts and popcorn to support his family and eventually started racing with his 1947 Plymouth. He eventually founded the team, RCR Racing, where they have racked up over 200 NASCAR victories, 3 Daytona wins, and over 300 team members on that team. We are talking some of the drivers that have been pivotal in progressing NASCAR. Greats like Dale Earnhardt, Ricky Rudd, Mike Skinner, and the modern era teammates of Kyle Busch, Austin Dillon, Jesse Love, and Austin Hill. He's a great champion for racing and ethanol, giving back to the community. Please welcome to the show, Mr. Richard Childress.
Yeah.
Thank you, Corey and Tanner. It's great to be here in Iowa.
Yep.
You know, we wasn't expecting the background, not noise, but the background music. When I hear a race car going, it's like hearing music.
It's like hearing music.
You hear a jet fly over,
Yep.
a military jet, that's the sound of freedom.
This
is the sound of our sport.
Yeah, I love it.
This is the best environment to record a show in that we've ever been a part of. This is absolutely electric.
I feel like we're at the Knoxville Nationals and they're just screaming. The announcers just scream.
Yeah. It's these are the ARCA cars.
Yep.
The Xfinity cars go at 3:30, and the Cup cars go at 4:30 today. It's 50-minute practice. We usually don't have that much, but the first time here with the Cup cars, they're going to give us more. And they've changed the track. You know, they paved it in certain spots.
Yep.
It's going to make for one heck of an interesting show.
Do you think that that's going to add to the racing? You know, give more grip, or what do you think it's going to do?
It'll make the corners a lot tighter. It'll be more just the cars running on the new asphalt.
Yep.
Used to, you could run all the way up around the wall, but they won't this time because it's going to be so much grip right on that very bottom. Everybody will be right there.
So we got to talk to the track president, and he's excited to bring NASCAR to this shorter track. What's that do for race team strategy?
Well, I mean, this is where NASCAR started, was on the short tracks, and the fans just love to watch the short tracks. A lot of excitement, a lot of temper sometime, a lot of side-by-side racing on the racetrack. So this is where NASCAR was born, on the short track. To be able to come back here in Iowa and be with the Iowa corn, it's amazing.
Yeah. What has ethanol done for the sport of racing?
Well, we did a lot of the testing going way back to when it very first started. And we started out with the E10, which was in the car. Then we went to E15, 20, 25. If it had been our choice, it would have been E25 or E30. Less pollution, better for the environment, and the cars ran better, and we just really liked it. It's the best octane booster, cleanest octane booster you can have.
That's great. And I just heard you say to Craig Floss, the Iowa Corn president, that we need E15 year-round.
Yes. Yeah, I just was speaking to Iowa Corn president, and we got to try to get E15 year-round. I think the waiver was passed, but we need it in every car. Everything needs to move from E10 to E15.
Yeah.
There's so many myths about ethanol. We call it bioethanol because that's what it is.
Yep.
And we take it, you know, I got a Corvette. My wife had a Mercedes. She's got a Cadillac, a little Cadillac now. We run E15 unleaded 88 in every vehicle we have.
Yeah, and that's a testament, because if we can run high-performing race cars on it, you ought to be able to run your grocery getter.
Oh, yeah. You know, NASCAR, we've ran over 1 million miles in all the series, and we've never had a very first fuel problem since we've been running. That's why I say it's so easy and so great for your bioethanol.
Yeah.
So you started racing in 1947.
No,
he drove a 1947 Plymouth.
Oh, yeah. I started selling.
I was trying to do the math.
Yeah, I started selling peanuts and popcorn back probably when I was 7, 8 years old, which many years ago, since 45. And then I fell in love with racing and bought an old $20 taxi cab, and we turned it into a race car. So here's this kid with a $20 race car and a dream right here talking about Iowa corn, bioethanol. Only in America could this happen to a guy like me.
So you bought the first car for $20. What's a race car cost today?
Lug nuts more than that today. I think our lug nut on this new car is over $200.
Holy
Just
cow.
a single lug nut. We build them at our company called Akuma, and we build those lug nuts, and they're over $200.
Wow.
So $20 wouldn't get you. I don't even know what you could buy today.
Not even can't even get a case of beer for $20 anymore.
No.
No?
Oh my gosh.
So you've done it all in racing. You've raced, you've promoted, you're a team owner. What's been your favorite part?
You know, I've been blessed. God's blessed me to be able to be here, do the things I'm doing, still be able to be out here and enjoy the fans, enjoy the sport. It has its challenges sometimes, but tell me something in life that doesn't have its challenges. I don't call anything a problem.
Yeah.
I call them challenges, and you just got to take them and do your best to work it out, you know. But my favorite part probably is, I used to love to drive the cars. I love working with the fans. Today, watching my two grandsons race is really neat, and having our great-grandkids here for the race is pretty big.
That is big. That is big. So Rusty Wallace built this in 2006, and we had admiration. We hoped that the Cup Series would come here, and it never did until 2024.
Yeah.
I know you guys have raced here in other series, right? Xfinity and the trucks, and now we've always come to the IndyCar races here. What do you like about this track?
I think it's a really fan-favorite racetrack. You can see all the way around it. It's a neat racetrack. It did have 3 grooves all the way. You could run all the way up against the wall. Now it may be a little tougher with this new asphalt right on the bottom.
Yep.
I'm watching the cars practice now. I've seen nobody get out of the new asphalt there.
Yep.
So I think that's going to be a challenge to be able to pass in the corners, run 2, 3 wide.
Yep.
2 wide you can probably do. 3 you're going to be in trouble.
Right.
And we got an old saying, if somebody's on the outside, you're on the inside. 8 tires holds a little better than 4.
Yeah.
So you go after it.
Right. And you're not against controversy. I want to bring it up. I love NASCAR, and you have Kyle Busch on your team now, and you have history with him. The Hold My Watch deal.
Yeah, well, that was going back many years ago.
Yeah.
Like he and I talked about it before he come to drive for me. That's the first thing we talked about. Put it behind us, and we said we're not even going to talk about it. But we were both younger, and I might have been 65 maybe, but I was younger.
65 throwing haymakers.
But, we had a lot of – Kyle is such a great guy to work with.
Yeah.
Totally different than anyone. All the stories you hear about, he's just a super guy. His passion is to win.
Oh, yeah.
And if I get a little upset sometime when things don't go just right. And but I remember up here at Iowa watching Austin Dillon win his first truck race here.
Yep.
I had a ranch in Montana. We were on the way out there. My wife and I stopped here, watched him run the truck race, and won it. So it was really neat
cool.
deal.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm a fan of NASCAR. I had to show Tanner the videos of what happened, leading up to that, and then you signing Kyle, and then said, "Here, hold my watch." You had him a Rolex. I said, "Man, I wish I had a boss that was that good."
Yeah, I gave him a Rolex as a signing bonus.
Yep. That was nice. What kind of Rolex was it?
It was a gold. I don't remember what it was. A nice one though.
Yeah. Oh, they're all nice. They're all nice. Take notes, Tanner.
So you mentioned that you do things off the track too, tied to agriculture. You told us that you don't grow corn, you don't grow soybeans, but you grow wine grapes, right?
We grow corn, we grow soybeans. We don't have big lots like this. We have maybe 100 acres, 125 of corn, and but then we have over 100 acres of grapes.
Wow.
That we make good RCR Childress wine with. And so go on, look online, Childress Vineyards, and you can go order you some good wine over here in Iowa.
And where is this at?
Lexington, North Carolina.
Lexington, North Carolina.
But we, North Carolina was the number one wine producing state in America before Prohibition. Most people have no idea.
Oh, I had no idea.
So we lost our tobacco farming with everything that's went on with tobacco. So with that said, I knew I could have bought vineyards or did it anywhere in California. I looked in California and different places, but I thought going home to North Carolina and putting grapes where our tobacco was is so much more economical for the state of North Carolina. Beautiful place for a winery.
Yep. So what kind of wine do you grow at all, or what's your
We
favorite?
do a little bit of it all. The first ones was the Scupperdine and Muscadine.
Muscadine, yeah.
And so we still raise the Muscadine, but Cabernet, Chardonnay, Sauvignon Blanc, you just name it. Merlot, we got a little bit of all of it.
Yeah, yeah.
That's fun to see those that have success in sports, professional sports, and have that tie to agriculture, because it takes so much and so many of us to spread the story, to spread the awareness, to tell everybody that we're regular people too.
Yeah. You know, I think where would this country be? We wouldn't be here without agriculture.
No.
Food is probably one of the two commodities we have to have. You got to have water and you got to have food. And I respect the farmers so much. It's just incredible what agriculture has done for this country, what bioethanol has done for corn growers.
Yes.
I mean, it's such a big deal today. I think you guys are coming to see you.
Oh boy, yeah.
I'll get that fixed up. You ask him about growth energy.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's Tanner has it on there about growth energy. What's going on with that?
Well, I've been on the board of Growth Energy, I think, since about 2011 or 12.
Okay.
And they're the voice for bioethanol in Washington, D.C. We're the ones that, at Growth Energy, that gets out there and watches the laws that's trying to be passed. We stop the bad ones toward farmers.
Yep.
We make the good ones. We're always trying to get more ethanol in the market because it's so good. It's so good for the consumer to go there and save 15, 20 cents a gallon. It's a company at home, C-stores called Sheets, and they're 20 cents cheaper for unleaded 88 than it is for unleaded 87, your regular gas that has E10 in it. And it's just an economic booster, especially where the gas prices are today, to be able to have E15.
Yeah, we were out in California earlier this year, and gas, some of it had $6 in front of it, and you could get E85 for $2 cheaper.
Oh,
yeah. There. You know, if you had heck yeah, that's definitely worth it.
It's good for the consumer. It's good for the environment. It's the next liquid fuel, I think, that we're going to be looking at. I know the manufacturers are looking at hybrids and the electric. We don't have the infrastructure today in America for all the electric cars.
No.
We're doing good in the summer when you turn on all the air conditioners. So charging cars, and in the winter in Montana and these places that's really cold, go out there and try to run an electric car and keep it going in really cold weather.
Yep. Yeah.
Not knocking them, but you're always going to have liquid fuels. There's always going to be a place for bioethanol. So I'm honored to be involved. I'm passionate about this country. I'm passionate about everything that bioethanol does for our farmers and what it does for the consumer.
Well, thank you for being such a champion. Ethanol is huge to the corn market. A lot of the naysayers would say, we're just using it for fuel, we need it for food. But It's both, right? The byproducts go to feed cattle and hogs and all this. You get a good steak out of your corn. Like we need, and we're farmers. We're really good at overgrowing things. So like we need all the demand we can get.
Yeah.
Well, you made the point that it's a lot. You use only about a third of the kernel of corn to make your ethanol with.
Yep.
And then the rest of it goes into DDG or distiller's grain.
Yep.
And that's fed to cattle or pork or wherever, which is a big deal.
Yeah. Over 4,000 uses for corn.
I know.
Yeah.
So back into racing. So are you going to go down to the garage after this interview? You're going to hit the pits?
Yeah, I just left there, and I told them I'd be right back. I had to come up here and talk about Iowa corn.
Yeah.
And I had to talk about bioethanol. Yeah. Austin Dillon will be driving the number 3 bioethanol Chevrolet here on Sunday.
Yep.
So I'm excited about that, us being able to feature bioethanol in a great state of Iowa.
That's great.
So will you throw a headset on and be part of the comms team while you're down there during tonight's race, or do you have anybody racing tonight?
No, we don't have anyone tonight. We have 2 cars tomorrow. We have Austin Hill and Jesse Love. Jesse's only 19, but he is a super talent. He won Talladega. He's 4th or 5th in the points. Austin Hill's 2nd in the points. And we're excited about where we're going with those 2 young men.
That's great.
It is kind of neat. So I didn't know if they got the Richard Childress effect in their headsets. You were communicating back and forth, telling them to go high, or
I get on there, but I don't talk to the drivers. Very seldom. If I see something that gets my attention, I'll talk to them.
You'll put Ross on the wall.
Yeah. You can't say it, but we need a code word to, like
it's corn time.
Remember Michigan, whatever. But I'll have a headset on. I'll be talking to the crew chiefs, and back to the shop. We have we call it the War Room. It's a tech center that we can talk to the drivers live, or we can talk to the engineers. And I'm kind of involved with them more than I am the driver.
Yeah.
So if you think back to when you were driving, are there any victories that are most memorable for you?
Probably one of the best ones was as I was running an invitational in Charlotte, and coming down the last lap, as Cale Yarber and I was racing, and I said my brakes failed, but I kind of turned him, and we both spun. I got going and won the race. Earnhardt was 2nd. He come up to me. He had a way. He said, "Next time I race with you, I'm going to beat you." I mean, we were just kids, not knowing, just racing for fun and love. And whoever dreamed the history and everything of us getting together and doing what we've been fortunate to do.
Amazing. What was that like working with Dale Earnhardt?
It was amazing. We built a tremendous friendship. We hunted and fished and, talked together. We had a similar family lifehood. We both lost our dads younger, and our mothers were really close to the same type, and bigger families. So we both understood each other and had a tremendous amount of respect. And the disagreements that he and I had, I could probably count them on 2 or 3 fingers.
Yeah. That's great.
We just had a way of working with each other.
Yep. I always loved watching him growing up.
He was.
Oh my gosh.
He was one of the greatest.
We got a little bit of time before your interview started. One of the camera guys was running a camera here right at the finish line.
Yep.
And we were asking him, and he asked us, "How do I get into racing? I've got some of the fastest laps at the go-kart place in Ankeny. What do I need to do to get into a car?" So if we've got a listener that would like to get into racing, how do you even get into it?
That's good. Start out young with a go-kart, work your way up, and then try to get with a race team and work with them. And I recommend everyone starting, like Austin and Ty, my 2 grandsons, we started them in the Legend cars, and they went from the Legend cars up to the dirt cars. Run dirt. I recommend everyone running dirt to just get the car control. And then they went from the ARCA. Both of them won in ARCA. Ty won the ARCA championship, won about 8 races that year, and also won races in it. But then they went to the trucks, and that was another step. Then to the Xfinity, then to the Cup. So just follow your dream. I started with that old 47 Plymouth, and here I am today.
Yeah, just got to stay consistent. I grew up going down to Knoxville to the sprint car capital of the world, and watching Sammy Swindell and Mark Kinzer and all those guys. Man, I thoroughly enjoy dirt track racing. So, it's awesome to watch.
Yeah, I love it.
Yep.
So as you look forward to the racing season,
Do I?
yeah, it's getting louder and louder. This is exciting.
There's 4 cars out there now.
Yeah. As you
Can
look,
you turn it up another notch?
I did.
Yeah. Okay.
So as you look forward to the racing season, what are some of your favorite tracks to go?
I get that question a lot. Any place we can win. That's my favorite. And been fortunate to win on a lot of tracks. We won here at Iowa. It was a truck, so. And our plan is to win on Saturday and Sunday. It's taking that checker flag home.
Yeah, you don't go somewhere not thinking you're going to win,
No,
right?
I even did when I didn't have no money. So, well, maybe today's the day that all them big boys are going to have a problem. I'm going to win today.
Right. Yeah. Is there a large separation from the people that have a lot of money down to the some of the teams that maybe don't have as much money?
It is in the Xfinity. In the Cup today with this new car, it's balanced the field so much more. We used to have maybe 15 cars that could win. Today we got probably 30 of them.
Okay.
On a given day that could win.
Yep.
Well, it's got to be exciting for a driver if you know that you've got a good car. And I know that all the interviews they say they had a good car, and I could tell they had a good car and just needed to drive it.
Yeah.
But now the whole field has good cars.
Yeah, in the Cup, everybody has basically about the same thing, and it's just engineering. This new car is so engineering driven that you've got to have top engineers. You got to have good pit crews. Pass about as many cars on pit road as you do on the track with these cars, but it puts on a great show.
So do you like this setup better than the old school setup?
Learned a long time ago, if you don't change with time, you'll get caught up in the past.
Yeah.
So you got to make the changes to keep going. And here we are today, we're racing it. We built the very first ones for NASCAR. So it's a good car. It's a safe car.
Yeah.
We've did a lot of work to keep trying to make it safer and safer.
Yeah.
Right.
So this track is not only short, but pit road's also shorter. It's a pretty compact area. Is that going to be prone to some issues?
Yes, it can be challenging at times. It can create a challenge. You got to try to pick the right stall, pick the right person in front of you that you know that isn't going to get in your way where you can't get out. You got to have somebody, if there's a pit stall behind you, you got to know that you'll be able to get in instead of them coming out wrecking you, and that happens a lot.
Yeah. Great. Well, he's probably got to get back to the.
I know. We told him we're going to keep it short.
Yep.
Thank you for coming up here. We appreciate it. This is exciting. One of the best environments we've ever recorded in. We appreciate it. But we do ask our guests all the same question. What's the best food you've ever eaten, and where'd you get it?
Best food that I've ever ate. Whew, you can see. Look at that. I love food.
Yeah,
so,
me too.
That's a tough one. One of my favorite restaurants is Childress Vineyards. We have a great bistro there.
Okay.
But other than that, Michael Gaughan out at the South Point Casino has a restaurant there called Michael's. Probably one of the best, neatest restaurants I've ever been. I like Italian food. I like seafood. I like steaks. I like good corn and good cornbread.
Yep.
All of that stuff.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
That's great.
My favorite way to eat corn is through a steak.
Yeah, it is. I'd like to thank Iowa Corn and all the farmers that's out here that help support this race and that helps support America.
Yep.
We're lost without it. And with the bioethanol that we're running today, none of this could happen without great farmers.
Yep.
Farming is a challenge. The fuel prices, fertilizer prices, corn prices, having a lot of corn, just everything brings it down. But we got to have the corn.
Yep.
Is one of the biggest commodities in food, I think.
Yeah.
Well, I've told everyone we've interviewed today that we don't have a sports team, a professional sports team in Iowa. Now we got the Cup Series. Let's keep it coming back here. So anything you can do to come back, we welcome you with open arms. So
I hope we
come
make
back.
enough money where they can pave the track all the way around.
There we go. Hey, we sold out. It's sold out this
Both of
weekend.
them.
Come back next year. We'll sell it out again. We'll
Yeah.
sell Indy out in July.
They'll be putting more grandstands up.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
so when they do the IndyCar race, this right here would be full.
Yeah.
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
That's great.
Well, thank you guys
Thank
very
you.
much. Thank
Yep.
Iowa Corn
Yeah.
and all our farmers.
Awesome. Have a great weekend on the racetrack. Hopefully your team does well.
Thank you, Tanner, Corey. Thank
Yep.
you guys.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.